What's up, guys? Today we are talking about Keon Coleman, wide receiver out of Florida State and Michigan State. Went to Buffalo with the first pick in the second round, and this is a really interesting player. I can't wait to talk about. But guys, for the rookie watch video series that I'm doing, this is just a quick snapshot of what the player has done recently and how his rookie season has gone up to the point when I'm recording the video. It's a little bit of a time capsule for what he has done or what the player has done and how the expectation looks, what to expect moving forward, and just a general honest look of what these guys have been doing, right? So with Keon Coleman, it's a little muddy because, man, he got his name dragged through the mud for the first 6 weeks of the season. And I'll be honest, I have sat down in this chair to record this video to talk about Keon Coleman, and it just felt so premature. And I never released those videos because I didn't agree with my own take almost. As I sat down and looked at my edits, I'm talking about how poorly he's playing or how limited his options have been. And I'm like, no, this was a second round pick. You weren't supposed to be Malik Neighbors week one. You weren't supposed to be this elite player from the beginning. You hope that you grow into that with the 33rd pick overall. There's still pretty heavy expectations, but it just seemed unfair, especially when he's on a receiver core where there's no alpha, there's no other big name. It's not like the defense is worried about anything. So yeah, you got best cornerbacks facing Keon Coleman, who is still young and raw and all these things. So that's why maybe a little bit too long of an explanation on why I didn't post those videos before, and why I'm doing it now is because over the past 2 weeks, one thing changed. They got a one. They got a true one. And now Keon Coleman gets to be the number two that I think the Bills kind of always envisioned. I think they drafted Keon Coleman to be what Gabe Davis kind of never was or never developed into fully. And I think they're hoping that Keon Coleman can develop into that, right? Let's get right into it, guys. First, I do want to show you guys just kind of the splits on how it's looked for him over the past 5 weeks here. You see the past 2 weeks against Tennessee, I think he had 3 or 4 catches for 125 yards. That was one really long catch down the sideline, I think. And then versus the Seahawks was really what turned my head, because the Titans game is one big play and then a couple other catches. It seemed like he was far more involved against the Seahawks. Only 70 yards, but had a touchdown in that game. We're going to show a couple clips from that game. Before this jump-off point, poor game against the Jets, mediocre game against the Texans, Baltimore. It is probably fair to note that Amari Cooper came before week 7, and then that was obviously the past 2 games where he's done better. But that goes to the point that I don't think anybody ever expected Keon Coleman to be Mike Evans. I don't think anybody ever expected him to be. That's not who he was drafted. Mike Evans was, I think, a top 10 pick, top 12 pick, something like that. This is not a guy that had that expectation coming out. So I do like to grade these guys based on what the expectation was. And right now, over the past 2 weeks, he's meeting and or exceeding it. So let's look at a couple clips, get a little bit of hype going on this guy's name here. First thing I want to show is not a route. This is a run play, but you just love seeing dogs be dogs. You see Keon Coleman here. Put it on the screen now. Top of your screen. God, I love this. Wait for it. Man in motion. Boom. And he points. He points and laughs. Oh, man, one more time just because you love football. Love it. And then here's another fun one against the Seahawks here for you guys. And this is truly what you drafted him for, right? If nothing else, if there was no other positives from what Keon Coleman could be, you knew that you were going to be able to do things like this. Against their number one, running formation, you got one guy on the outside. I mean, even Amari Cooper isn't even out there because you get the jump ball guy out there. You got one of the best throwing you the ball. Just go up top shelf, grab it. Love that stuff, man. And then here's just another example down the field, doing what you want to see from a Keon Coleman. Top shelf. Josh Allen gives you a shot at it. Go up, get it. That's big man. Big man doing big man things. We love it. In the interest of being fair, I do want to show kind of the big play against the Titans that was the majority of his stats. the Week 7 game, just to show, like, yes, he's just now kind of rounding into form of what I think he could be. If he takes a nosedive in weeks 9, 10, and 11, this video is going to feel very silly. But in this moment, in this snapshot, as I said at the beginning of the video, it feels like his trajectory is starting to move up. But with that said, I do want to be, perfectly transparent on what we're seeing from him. So Week 7, when he got that big game, and here's the video for you guys. Obviously, just a busted coverage, whatever you want to call it, but he's just wide open and runs down the sidelines. I mean, that's a huge play. 40-yard play, 45-yard play, something like that. Last thing I want to do is just bring up one other point that I keep thinking when I'm watching him, which is the caveat that he has ran 13 plays from the slot position and 189 from out wide. So he is their outside X receiver, and that works great. You got Amari Cooper now. He's going to be able to do a lot of different things. I don't know how long that Amari Cooper rental's going to look, but regardless, you have a one that can play slot, can play outside on the other side. They can do a lot of different things with him, and let Keon Coleman just be that outside receiver that runs the slant, runs the go, runs the handful of routes you need him to run, but really just that 50-50 ball guy. That's what he was supposed to be. That's what he was drafted to be. There's nothing wrong with being that, right? Get him 4 or 5 targets a game. He catches one of them, it's a good game. He's going to be a threat in the red zone no matter how good he ends up being. Like, that's kind of a given. With that said, I think, like, just from watching the film, I showed you a couple plays, but like when I prepare for these videos, I do like to kind of go through and just look at his snaps one after another, and I'm not going super in depth, but the one thing that I came away looking at it was he's not creating separation at the NFL level. Not on a high level. When it's man-to-man and you got a corner that can match up with him physically, which not all of them can. It's a big dude, but when they can, it's lockdown, right? And then you get into, okay, can you make a special catch when you are covered, which he can, and that's part of his game. I would like to see him in the slot a little bit more. I would like to see him getting a little bit more free releases, working the middle of the field a little bit more. I don't know if the Bills ever will have a plan to do that. I don't know if the Bills want to do that. I am just saying that I'm not projecting that he will do that. I'm just saying I think he could do a little bit of that work as well, along with what he's doing on the outside. I don't know. That's just my take. Take it for what it is. I like to see that if it's a possibility, but I am really excited about this too. I'm excited for where it's going to go. Again, like I said earlier, if he nosedives, he nosedives, and there's nothing I can do about that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is a guy who's going to be on that upward trajectory. I'm really hoping that the next primetime game that he's in, there's some big, stat where it shows him before Amari Cooper and after Amari Cooper and how much better he is, because, hey, maybe that's all he needed. Just needed a little bit of the pressure taken off him. He could be an elite 2 or a really subpar average 1, or below average 1. So hey, we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping this trajectory keeps going in the right direction for him. Until the next video, thank you so much for watching. And hey, you want to give a little love to a small channel? Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. Peace.